Right now, the ground beneath the Queen City is literally shifting. Cincinnati is a city proudly built on tradition. But today, we're unpacking the multi-billion-dollar architectural and financial revelations that are about to reshape its riverfront forever. So let's just dive right into the very real vision for the city's future.
And it all kicks off with one massive question that is currently echoing through the halls of City Hall: renovation or replacement? For months now, there have been whispers and pretty heated debates about the jungle, Paycor Stadium. Is this iconic stadium getting a massive facelift, or is the city looking at a brand new billion-dollar home for the Bengals? Well, today in this explainer, we are putting the rumors to rest and breaking down exactly what the blueprints and master plans reveal.
Section 1. The Queen City Crossroads. To really understand what's happening, we first have to look at the massive forces converging on downtown right now. The Bengals are approaching the end of their lease, and at the exact same time, FC Cincinnati is experiencing this absolute meteoric rise that is completely altering the local sports landscape. And that convergence brings us to this staggering number, $1.2 billion. When you compare Paycor Stadium, which, remember, was built back in 2000, to the brand new billion-dollar architectural spaceships popping up in places like Las Vegas and Los Angeles, the jungle was definitely starting to feel a little bit vintage. But instead of tearing it down, the latest master plans reveal that this $1.2 billion figure is the reported cost for a renewed stadium plan.
Section 2. Paycor. Renew, don't replace.
Okay, let's dive into this. What does $1.2 billion actually buy you? Well, first off, a brand new stadium skin to completely modernize the exterior look of the building. Inside, we're talking about vastly expanded concourses. Because let's be real, the days of missing an entire quarter of football while standing shoulder to shoulder just to get a hot dog, those are targeted for elimination. Furthermore, there are some really significant structural weather protection upgrades on the table. Now, they probably aren't dropping a full dome on top of it, but they are heavily prioritizing fan comfort against the elements. But honestly, the absolutely crucial goal here is making Paycor a 365-day-a-year destination, completely transforming it from a building that just sits empty most of the week into a really vibrant daily hub.
Section 3. Building entertainment ecosystems.
What the city is really trying to achieve here is a stadium district. Think of this as the popular riverfront area known as the Banks, but basically on steroids. A stadium district is a dedicated urban neighborhood anchored by a sports venue that connects seamlessly to the rest of downtown. We've actually seen this blueprint executed brilliantly in places like Nashville and even just up the road in Columbus. When you build a district, the stadium isn't just some island anymore. It becomes the beating heart of a living, breathing neighborhood. And that is exactly the plan for the west side of the Cincinnati riverfront. So what goes into this new district? Well, the master plans reveal a heavy focus on three main features. First, high-end boutique hotels to capture all that tourism generated by this year-round destination. Second, and I know the die-hard fans are going to absolutely love this, permanent park-like tailgating plazas. Just imagine beautifully landscaped public spaces designed specifically to elevate the pre-game experience without having to fight for a patch of gravel. Finally, a massive increase in retail space to connect the riverfront even more seamlessly to the rest of the city.
But, Paycor isn't the only venue making waves. Let's compare the two massive projects currently shaping the city right now. On one hand, you have the Paycor Stadium focus, which is heavily centered on overhauling the aging existing structure. On the other hand, you have the new kid on the block, FC Cincinnati's TQL Stadium. Because TQL is already a brand new state-of-the-art facility, their vision for the future is entirely focused on expanding the surrounding mixed-use development. So it's two different venues, two totally different starting points, but both are racing toward the exact same goal, creating a massive entertainment ecosystem.
FC Cincinnati's plans for the West End are just incredibly ambitious. They're moving forward with their own massive mixed-use expansion right next to TQL Stadium. We're talking new hotel construction, brand new residential apartments, and a dedicated fan zone hub. They are essentially turning that entire pocket of the West End into a European-style soccer mecca. The synergy between the stadium and the surrounding neighborhood is quite literally being built from the ground up.
Section 4. The billion-dollar reality. Now, as exciting as these architectural renderings look, and as thrilling as a European-style soccer mecca sounds, there are sobering realities to massive urban infrastructure projects like this. Someone has to pay for the concrete, the steel, and the labor. So who actually foots the bill for a $1.2 billion renovation? Well, we are looking at a really complex mix here. private funding coming from the Brown family and public funding coming from taxpayer dollars. The balance between private investment and public contribution is going to be one of the most intensely debated, hot-button issues in the upcoming election cycle. It's the engine that will either stall this whole project out or drive it forward. And this brilliantly illustrates that these interconnected districts just do not happen overnight. In 2026, we'll see the master plans and initial renovation phases rolling out. Right after that, we hit the next election cycle, where those massive funding debates will undoubtedly take center stage. Because of the sheer scale of the construction and the intricate political negotiations required, we are realistically looking at a timeline that stretches well into the 2030s for full, grand-scale project completion. The future is revealed, yes, but that future is a slow, methodical build.
So if there is one thing you take away from this explainer, it's this. Cincinnati is doubling down on being a premier sports city by moving away from just a stadium and moving toward entertainment ecosystems. This is absolutely the core thesis of the city's future. Whether it's the massive overhaul of Paycor or the ongoing evolution of the West End, the city is betting its architectural future on the idea that sports venues simply must be living, breathing parts of the daily urban fabric. For sure, the Cincinnati of 2030 is going to look vastly different than it does today.
You've seen the master plans, the stadium district concepts, and the massive financial realities we're looking at today. So I leave you with this. Is a $1.2 billion renovation the smartest path forward to secure this entertainment ecosystem? Or do you think the city should just bite the bullet and build a brand new stadium from scratch? It's a massive question that is quite literally going to define the city's skyline for the next 50 years. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep your eyes on the riverfront.